of lawyers think that opening a law firm is the hard part, but it's not. The hard part is surviving the first 90 days after you've opened your law firm because you don't have a guaranteed paycheck, you don't have a marketing department, you don't have clients just magically showing up. I'm Darcel Lobo, a solo attorney who teaches you how to open and build a successful law firm. The first 90 days should focus on visibility, relationships, and cash flow. Let's get into it. Now, your first goal in opening your law firm and going solo is to make money as quickly as possible. So don't spend weeks or months trying to perfect your branding and perfect your website. You need to prioritize tasks that are directly going to lead to consultations and to signed clients. We're going to start with practice areas that can generate cash faster for you. Think estate planning, think bankruptcy, family law, criminal defense, work where you can collect fees up front, especially if you're going to be able to do flat fees. And just keep in mind, if you are solely doing contingency type work, there's going to be a number of months that pass before you get that first settlement check, before you even see revenue coming in the door. So just keep that in mind. A lot of my law firm owners who do contingency work will also do some other smaller work on the side that's not contingency, just to get some revenue coming in the door, especially in those first few months. In your first 90 days, when you've gone solo, we want to make sure that you have a simple intake process, a simple onboarding, a simple way to collect money from clients starting on day one. Another key takeaway in your first 90 days that you should always be doing as a good business practice, but especially in your first starting, is ensuring that you are following up with every lead immediately. So if somebody contacts your office by email, by text, by a phone call, however they're reaching out, making sure that you are connecting with them very quickly. And make sure you remember that the lawyers who survive the first 90 days of being a solo aren't the best lawyers. They're not the smartest lawyers. They're the lawyers who learn how to bring in business quickly. They're the lawyers who understand how to build relationships. Next, let's talk about your network. Who you know, who is in your network, is going to be the focus of your marketing strategy, especially early on. So before you've even gone solo, once you have gone solo, and in those first 90 days after you've gone solo, you've got to make sure you are telling everyone about what you do, who you can help, and how you can help them. Your former coworkers, classmates from law school, other local attorneys, making sure that everyone that's in your network knows about your law firm. And you're going to have to get out and start talking to people in real life, going to bar association events, getting involved in your local community like your Chamber of Commerce or your Rotary, going to local business networking group, going to CLEs, even maybe you speaking at events, introducing yourself to other professionals who aren't lawyers, but who come into contact with your ideal client, accountants, realtors, financial planners, therapists. I mean, there's so many different categories of people who come into contact with your client based on who your client is that you need to identify and reach out to, get to know, and establish relationships with. And if you have a consumer-facing practice, you need to become visible in your town, whether that's sponsoring events for the local elementary school or middle school or high school or chamber events. You need to start showing up in your local community, in your local town, to make sure people in the community know that your business exists and what you do and how you can help them. And remember that most referrals are going to happen because people remember that you exist, right? So having this the one touch point, the one time you meet them, is not going to be enough. You're going to have to ensure that you continue to follow up with people that you have met in building your network. So when you first start out, you probably have some time on your hands. You should be using this time strategically. And so when it comes to meeting people, you're going to be scheduling coffees or lunches every week, if not more than once a week. And if you're going to say, Darcel, I don't know who I should meet with, I don't know who to reach out to. If you're doing estate planning, I would say other financial advisors. If you're doing bankruptcy, I would say realtors or family law attorneys or bankers would be a good one also. If you do business law, other entrepreneurs or other small business groups, right? Like getting yourself in front of the people that your client is coming into contact with and talking to when they have an issue that arises that you can help them with. And you got to make sure that you're following up consistently. Having the one-time touch point is not going to be enough. So after you've had that coffee or lunch with them, you're going to send a follow-up email, maybe a LinkedIn connection request, and then 30 days from then, you're going to follow up, or 60 days from then, or if you see something that might be helpful to them or you think that they may be interested in, you're going to follow up and send that to them and be helpful, give value. Growing these relationships are not all about take, and what can you do for me? It's about also what you can do for them and how you can help them as well. It has to be a two-way street. If you're just looking for what you can receive out of the relationship, people can smell that from a mile away, and they're not going to be interested in getting to know you. And so making sure it is a two-way street, that you are getting to know them, that you do genuinely care about that person, that relationship, and growing that relationship. That's what's really going to matter and help you in the long run. Because people hire and recommend lawyers that they know, like, and trust. So you have to make sure you are developing that in that relationship. So you're getting to know them, they're getting to know you, you're getting to like them, they're getting to like you, and you're getting to trust them, and they're getting to trust you. Because also, you should not be referring your clients to that financial planner, to that tax advisor, to that real estate agent, if you don't have a vote of confidence in them. So this has to be a two-way street for the benefit of both of you, but moreover, the client. We are helping the client here to solve a problem that they have, whatever that problem may be that you or your people in your network can help with. And remember that you're never going to know where a connection can take you, where being in the right place at the right time may help you. So I remember this one time I went solo in 2016. I think it was that year or maybe that following year. I was new to being a solo, but I was not new to being an attorney. So I did a presentation for my state bar association about bankruptcy. It was just like an intro to bankruptcy. I think it was like a 90-minute presentation about bankruptcy. And it was a virtual presentation that I did at the state bar's office. And one of the attendees, one of the attorneys who was watching the video or my presentation, just so happened to know a producer at King 5 News, which is like the local news station here in the Seattle area. And that producer was looking for someone to come on and talk about kind of like financial health and estate planning and just finances, and ended up connecting me with that producer. And I ended up appearing on King 5 News. I think it was 4 times in total, 3 times in person and 1 time virtual. And I would have never had imagined that that could be a possibility at that time. But it just goes to show, and this has been proven to me many times over, that you just never know who you're talking to and who knows who has a connection. And when you meet people and get to know them and establish a relationship where they see you as an authority on a certain issue, you never know what doors that can lead to. And that's why it's so important that you go and do these things and go to events and do speaking gigs when you can and meet people and just get out there and talk about what you do and how you can help people. Because this is going to in turn open doors for you. You're going to be planting the seeds now that you'll be sowing 6 months from now, 12 months from now, 2 years from now, right? You're planting all these seeds and you're not going to see those seeds grow immediately. But you're planting them for the future version of yourself, for the future of your law firm. Okay, now if you're here, you're probably gearing up to go solo, or maybe you just went solo. And you want to ensure that you have a strong foundation. And kudos to you, because a lot of law firm owners miss that part when it comes to opening and building their law firms. One of the first things you need to do is create a business plan. And if you've already opened your law firm and you don't have a business plan in writing, not just in your mind, but actually in writing, you really need to get one. And luckily for you, I have a free one for you. I have a free law firm business plan template that you can have for free. It's linked down below for you. Make sure you grab it, and let's continue on with today's video. If you've been around and have seen a number of videos, you know that I'm going to tell you as a law firm owner, you have to create an online presence. You probably have done some work on your online presence before you went solo, and that's great. But we don't stop there. We have to keep showing up and keep creating content and keep building yourself as an authority online, because that's where your client is going when they're having an issue that you probably can help with, right? So what are you going to do? Let's talk about the first few steps for your online presence. Your Google My Business profile, you need to make sure that is filled out completely, that you have photos, you have videos, make sure your map is correct. Make sure as you get clients, you have them leaving reviews there. You want to make sure you have that set up and fully filled out. You also want to make sure you have your law firm website. It doesn't need to be an expensive one. It doesn't need to be fancy. It just needs to be clean and needs to have a certain number of pages and information for your clients. And also next week's video, I am redoing my law firm's website, and I took you behind the scenes in my meeting with my marketing team about the website, about the update. So make sure you stick around for next week's video if you have interest in building your website or updating your website, because I take you behind the scenes on me doing mine. Your LinkedIn profile, make sure you have that filled out, especially if your referral sources can be other lawyers or other professionals. You want to make sure that you have that filled out for LinkedIn. And then also a social media platform. To decide which one you should do, if it's Facebook, if it's TikTok, if it's Instagram, you want to figure out, where are your clients? Where are they going online when they have an issue you can help with? That is where you need to go. You are not going to create and set up and post content on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and LinkedIn. We're not doing all those. That's not sustainable as a solo law firm owner. So pick the one where your clients are, and that's where you're going to show up. If you have a consumer-facing practice, that's probably going to be Facebook. And I know a lot of you, myself included, can't stand Facebook. But you know what? If that's where your clients are, then that's where you need to be. Now, when you're doing all these things and setting up your online presence, I want you to remember, it doesn't all have to be perfect. You don't have to have everything figured out. You're going to be tweaking and revising as your practice grows, as you grow, and that's okay. If you are waiting to post that first video, if you're waiting to make that first blog post, if you're waiting to put out your website and make it live, because it's not perfect, you're never going to get it out. And you know what that means? Your clients aren't going to find you because you were waiting for perfection to take action. And that's not how that works. Your clients aren't looking for perfection. They're looking for someone that they can, again, know, like, and trust to help them solve a problem that they're having. It doesn't have to be perfect. Don't wait for perfection to take the action and keep things moving with the building of your law firm. And for any of you who aren't sure of what to post, what content to post, should I do a blog? Should I do a video? Should I do a long form video? Should I do a short form video? Whatever you're going to do, you need to figure out, what am I going to share? You need to answer the common questions that your clients are asking. What type of language and words are the clients using when they are searching for an issue that you can help with? If you don't know, we need to figure that out. But a way to figure that out is to use a website like answerthepublic.com. That is a great resource where you can type in, let's say you do, criminal law, and you can type in DUI, and it will tell you all the questions that people ask online about DUIs. And it will probably give you 50 or 60 questions that people are asking, and it's ranked by popularity as to what questions people are asking. That is the content you're creating. You are answering those questions that people are asking in the way that they're asking them. So that is a gold mine of information for you when you're trying to figure out what to post, what to share. How do I get people to find me? Go to answerthepublic.com. Totally free. And whatever platform you decide to use for posting, consistency is what matters. You don't need a full-blown production setup to be able to post. You need decent audio. For lighting, just sit in front of a window. You don't need fancy lights. Don't spend a bunch of money on that. You don't need to. It's not necessary. Can people see you? And is the audio okay? For most of you, your iPhone works great. You don't need a fancy camera. You don't need a fancy mic. You don't need the lights. You don't need all those things until you've been doing content more. We just need people to be able to find you and to know that you can help them solve their problems. So let's keep it simple. Let's not overcomplicate this. Let's not spend a bunch of money on this. You don't need to. Let's get to our next tip, which is that you have to remember that you need to treat your law firm like a business from day one. You're no longer just a lawyer. You are a business owner, and that comes first before being a lawyer. Because I tell you all the time that lawyering is the smallest part of my day. Most of my day is spent running my business, running the law firm. Lawyering is a very small percentage of my day on a day-to-day basis. So if you want to run your law firm like the business that it is, here's some things you should be doing. You should be tracking all of your numbers. What numbers should you be tracking? I would say your leads and where they're coming from. You need to be tracking your consultations, how many you're having per week, per month, what your conversion rates are, what your revenue is. You need to know your monthly and annual goals for the law firm. You need to know what it costs to operate your law firm on a monthly basis, on an annual basis. And also, as a business owner, you have to protect your time. And this can be really hard at first because it's just you doing all the things. But as you're doing all the things, before you have the revenue coming in to afford help, you should be documenting what you do and how you do it. So you have systems in place when you are at the point of bringing on your first hire, which could be in your first 90 days, in your first 6 months, in your first 12 months. So you want to start documenting these things now as you're doing them. So when you bring on some help, you're not having to go back and spend time showing how to do what you do because you've already been documenting it as you've been doing it for all these months. Let's talk about some mistakes that you need to avoid also when you're running your law firm like the business that it is. Number one, when it comes to pricing, don't underprice yourself, but even more so, do not let a client talk down your fee. If your retainer is $5,000, it's $5,000. No, you're not going to accept $1,000. No, you're not going to accept $1,500. That's already going to be a problem. Do not negotiate with yourself. Your price is your price. Now, if you set your price and you find that it's too high, then that's something different. But you're not going to let a client talk you down and negotiate with you on what your fees are. Unacceptable. Also, we don't want to avoid the marketing efforts because it feels uncomfortable. Because I'm here to tell you now that as a new law firm owner, you're going to be doing a lot of things that you find to be uncomfortable. And you're going to have to just get used to it. Because how else are you going to build a kick-ass law firm if you don't try some new things? You're going to have to try new things. You're going to have to do things scared. You're going to have to face the fear and try the things that you didn't think you would try or you don't want to do. Because in going solo, you have bet on you. You have doubled down. You are all chips in on you in this law firm. So to ensure that it's successful, you're going to be doing some different things than how you've done in the past, because we're here to do new things with your law firm and to do something you've never done before. And a third mistake I see law firm owners make is spending money too fast and thinking that spending money is going to fix your problems. Do not throw good money after bad. If your marketing is not working, if your phone is not ringing, that probably doesn't mean you need to spend $4,000 a month on Google ads. No, you probably need to reach out to some people and build some relationships. You need to build some authority. How can we develop your know, like, and trust factor with potential clients before they even met you? There's other things that we can do to build your law firm that don't involve spending a whole lot of money that you might not have. And I want you to remember this, that the first 90 days of your law firm are about momentum. Again, they're not about perfection. You're not going to have it all figured out. You're probably never going to have it all figured out. I've been a lawyer for 17 years, and I've had my law firm for a little over 10 years now, and I don't have it all figured out either. There's things that I still do not know and that I'm figuring out as I go. I'm just further along in the process and the journey than you are. So I can share with you what I've seen work, what I've seen not work, and help you on your journey as a law firm owner. But my law firm's not perfect. I'm still figuring things out. You're still going to be figuring things out. And that's going to be the journey of law firm ownership for the duration of your career as a law firm owner. And being perfect doesn't matter. We don't need a perfect law firm in the first 90 days. We need a law firm that survives, that grows, and gets known. And again, being the best lawyer is not going to make you the best law firm owner, is not going to make your law firm successful. The lawyers and the law firms that have successful law firms are the ones who stay visible, the ones who build relationships, and the ones that keep moving. Even when things don't quite go right, they keep moving. They don't give up. And so we've been talking about the first 90 days in your law firm. If you want to see the behind the scenes of an actual work day in my life as a law firm owner, make sure you watch this next video. I bring you along with me on a very busy client day, and I will see you over there if you want to see what that looks like.